My sister-in-law falsely accused me of poisoning her at her baby shower because I got sympathy for my miscarriage from everyone. But she didn't know about the hidden cameras. I, 28 female, have been married to my husband Jack, 30 male, for 4 years. We met in college where I was studying to become a kindergarten teacher and he was pursuing engineering. From the start, his mother Anya, 55 female, made it clear she thought Jack could do better than a teacher. She'd often make comments about how her son deserved someone more ambitious. This whole mess started at my sister-in-law Tiffany's, 26 female, baby shower. For context, I suffered a miscarriage 6 months ago at 12 weeks. It was devastating. Jack and I had already started preparing the nursery and bought some baby clothes. We're still healing from the loss, though we try to stay strong for each other. Tiffany and I used to be really close. She worked at the same school as me, teaching 3rd grade. When I first started dating Jack, she was my biggest supporter and helped me navigate his family dynamics. After I lost the baby, she seemed genuinely supportive at first. She'd bring me food and sit with me during those first difficult weeks. Her husband Tucker, 31 male, has been Jack's best friend since their freshman year of college. They were roommates for 4 years and Tucker was Jack's best man at our wedding. Tucker always treated me like a sister and stood up for me whenever Anya made her snide remarks. Things started changing when Tiffany announced her pregnancy 3 months ago. She didn't tell me directly, I found out through a family group chat. When I asked her about it later, she said she didn't want to upset me given my loss. I assured her I was happy for her, even if I was still grieving. After her announcement, Tiffany's behavior shifted dramatically. She'd make subtle comments about how I needed to move on and stop making everything about my loss. Once, during a family dinner, she complained that people were too focused on comforting me instead of celebrating her pregnancy. Anya would always agree with her, saying I was taking attention away from Tiffany's happy time. The baby shower was held at Tiffany and Tucker's house last weekend. I tried my best to stay in the background, helping with food and decorations. I wanted the day to be perfect for Tiffany. However, whenever guests who knew about my loss would give me a hug or quietly ask how I was doing, I'd notice Tiffany and Anya exchanging meaningful looks. For Tiffany's gift, I spent weeks researching and finally found a local artisan who made beautiful hand-knitted baby blankets. I chose one in soft yellow with delicate elephant patterns. Tiffany always loved elephants. When she opened it, instead of appreciation, she seemed disappointed. She commented that she expected something more expensive from family, especially since Jack and I both had good jobs. Anya quickly chimed in, loudly saying that someone who lost a baby probably couldn't understand the joy of preparing for one. The room went silent and I felt my face burning with humiliation. During lunch, I helped serve food along with other family members. Tiffany suddenly started complaining about feeling dizzy. Anya immediately jumped up, pointing at me and accusing me of tampering with Tiffany's food. She claimed I must have done something out of jealousy over her pregnancy. Tiffany burst into tears, saying she felt sick after eating the pasta I'd served her. Jack immediately came to my defense, pointing out that others had eaten from the same pasta dish without any issues. He reminded everyone that I'd even helped cook most of the food for Tiffany's bridal shower last year. But Anya called me a snake, saying I'd always been jealous of Tiffany and now I couldn't stand seeing her happy and pregnant while I'd lost my baby. To my shock, my own parents, who were also at the shower, suggested I should apologize to keep the peace. They pulled me aside and said that since Tiffany was pregnant, we should be more understanding of her emotional state. My mom even suggested that maybe I had accidentally mixed up ingredients while serving food, implying that I might be responsible without realizing it. The situation got even worse when Tiffany posted about the incident on Facebook. She wrote a long post about how I tried poisoning her out of jealousy over her pregnancy, claiming she'd always known I resented her happiness. She didn't name me directly, but everyone in our circle knew who she was talking about. My parents called that evening, saying I should admit my mistake and apologize before things got even worse. They argued that the stress wasn't good for Tiffany's pregnancy and that as someone who had lost a baby, I should be more sensitive to her condition. Jack was furious with them for suggesting I would ever harm anyone, let alone a pregnant woman. I know I didn't do anything to Tiffany's food. I would never harm her or her baby, regardless of my own loss. But now half the family thinks I'm some unstable, jealous person who tried to hurt a pregnant woman. My reputation is being destroyed and even my own parents don't believe me. Update 1. The past 2 weeks have been absolute hell. Tiffany's Facebook post about the poisoning incident went viral within our social circle. Though she didn't name me directly, she wrote about how someone close to the family tried to harm her and her unborn baby out of jealousy. Anya shared the post, adding her own comments about how some people can't handle seeing others happy after experiencing loss. The accusations spread like wildfire. Every day, I'd receive messages from family members and mutual friends asking how I could do something so horrible. Anya took advantage of the situation and contacted every relative, telling them horror stories about how unstable I'd become after my miscarriage. She claimed she'd noticed concerning behavior from me for months but kept quiet to protect family harmony. Tiffany then escalated things by claiming she had to visit the hospital after the baby shower due to severe stomach pains. She said doctors told her she was lucky they caught the poisoning early. Anya supported her story, adding detailed accounts of how pale and sick Tiffany looked after eating the food I served. They never provided any medical documentation, but people believed them anyway. My parents' reaction has been the most hurtful part of this nightmare. Instead of defending me, they keep insisting I should confess and apologize, even if I didn't intentionally do anything wrong. My mother called yesterday saying that sometimes in grief, people do things they don't remember doing. She suggested that maybe I was so traumatized by my loss that I might have subconsciously tried to hurt Tiffany. Her words felt like a betrayal. How could my own mother think I was capable of such a thing? Jack has been my rock through all this. He's furious with his family, especially Anya, for spreading these lies. He confronted Tiffany about her hospital visit claims, demanding to see proof. She broke down crying, and Anya stepped in, screaming at Jack about how dare he stress out his pregnant sister. She told him he was choosing his unstable wife over his own blood. Yesterday, something unexpected happened. Tucker called Jack asking to meet with us privately. He seemed troubled and said he had important information about the baby shower incident that he needed to share. We're meeting tomorrow at his office during lunch. Jack is worried that Tucker might have evidence that could somehow implicate me, but I know I'm innocent. I never touched Tiffany's food except to serve it from the same dishes everyone else ate from. My parents are still pressuring me to apologize regardless of what actually happened. They keep saying that maintaining peace in the family is more important than proving who's right or wrong. They believe that since Tiffany is pregnant, everyone should be focused on keeping her calm and stress-free. My father even suggested that Jack and I should offer to pay for Tiffany's hospital visit to show our remorse, despite having no proof that such a visit ever occurred. The situation at work has become uncomfortable too. Tiffany told her colleagues at school about the incident, and now some of my fellow teachers avoid me in the hallways. A few parents have even requested their children be moved from my class after hearing rumors about what happened at the baby shower. The principal called me in for a meeting to discuss the concerning allegations circulating about me. Jack wants to hire a lawyer to address the defamation, but I've been hesitating because I don't want to cause more drama. However, with my reputation and career potentially at stake, I'm starting to think he might be right. The meeting with Tucker tomorrow might help clarify things, but I'm nervous about what he has to tell us. I never imagined my sister-in-law and mother-in-law would go to such lengths to destroy my life just because people showed me sympathy over my miscarriage. The worst part is seeing how many people, including my own parents, are willing to believe I would try to harm a pregnant woman, all because I lost my own baby. Update 2. The meeting with Tucker completely changed everything. He asked us to meet at his office because he wanted to show us something privately. When we arrived, he looked stressed and admitted he'd been struggling with what to do with this information for days. Tucker revealed he had installed security cameras throughout their house a few months ago after some break-ins in their neighborhood. The cameras covered most areas, including the kitchen and dining room. He pulled up the footage from the baby shower on his computer, and what we saw left us speechless. The video clearly showed Tiffany and Anya in the kitchen before lunch was served. Anya could be seen taking something from her purse and mixing it into the pasta bowl while Tiffany kept watch at the kitchen entrance. Tucker explained he initially didn't check the footage because he believed Tiffany's story, but something felt off when she kept changing details about her supposed hospital visit. When Tucker confronted Tiffany about the footage earlier that morning, she broke down completely. Through tears, she admitted that Anya had planned the whole thing. They never intended to cause serious harm. Anya had only mixed in some mild ipecac syrup to make me look bad. The plan was for Tiffany to get slightly sick, blame my food, and finally put an end to all the sympathy I'd been receiving over my miscarriage. Tiffany confessed she never went to the hospital. The entire story was fabricated because Anya convinced her that making the accusation more serious would ensure everyone turned against me. She admitted feeling overshadowed by the attention I received after my loss and said Anya had been feeding into these insecurities for months. Tucker was visibly disgusted by their behavior. He told us he'd already contacted a divorce lawyer because he couldn't stay married to someone who would participate in such a cruel scheme. He apologized repeatedly for not believing me initially and provided us copies of all the footage. When we showed the video to my parents, their faces went pale. My mother started crying, begging for forgiveness for doubting me. My father couldn't even look me in the eye. They tried to justify their behavior by saying they only wanted to protect the family's harmony, but Jack shut them down immediately. He reminded them that they were willing to sacrifice their own daughter's reputation and career because they were too cowardly to stand up to Anya's lies. Anya's response to being exposed was even more shocking. Instead of apologizing, she tried to defend their actions, claiming they only did it because I was playing the victim and making Tiffany's pregnancy all about my loss. She actually suggested that the whole thing was my fault for not moving on from my miscarriage quickly enough. Jack has cut off all contact with his family except for Tucker. Tiffany tried calling me multiple times to apologize, saying Anya manipulated her, but I blocked her number. Tucker told us she's moved back in with Anya while their divorce proceedings begin. The school principal apologized after I showed him proof of what really happened. He offered to help restore my reputation with the parents who had complained, but the damage to my relationships with many colleagues feels irreparable. Update 3. After much consideration, I decided to publicly expose Tiffany and Anya's lies. I posted the security footage on social media, along with a detailed account of their scheme. The reaction was overwhelming. People who had previously sided with Tiffany were horrified by the video evidence. The footage showed not just Anya mixing something into the food, but also captured their conversations. Their casual discussion about making me look bad and laughing about how everyone would finally stop sympathizing with my loss was particularly damning. Several relatives contacted me to apologize for believing their lies. Tiffany lost most of her friends and had to quit her teaching job due to the backlash. Anya tried damage control, claiming the video was edited or taken out of context. She even attempted to paint herself as a concerned mother-in-law who was just trying to protect her pregnant daughter from my negative influence. My parents wanted me to take down the video, saying it was causing too much drama in the family. They argued that exposing Tiffany and Anya publicly was too harsh, especially since Tiffany was still pregnant. I refused. After they chose to believe the worst about their own daughter without any evidence, they lost the right to tell me how to handle this situation. Tucker's divorce proceedings are moving forward quickly. The footage of Tiffany participating in the scheme to frame me has actually helped his case. Tiffany moved in with Anya and they're still maintaining their victim narrative to whoever will listen, but their audience has shrunk considerably. Jack and I decided to make a fresh start. We moved to another city where he got a better job offer. I'm starting at a new school next semester. We're maintaining minimal contact with both families, except for Tucker, who has been a true friend throughout this ordeal. Some family members say I went too far by sharing the video publicly. They claim I could have handled it privately. But after weeks of being labeled as a jealous, unstable woman who tried to poison a pregnant woman, I believe Tiffany and Anya deserve to face public consequences for their actions. I don't regret exposing their lies. My only regret is trusting Tiffany's initial supportive behavior after my miscarriage. Jack and I are focusing on healing and building our new life away from toxic family members who were willing to destroy my reputation simply because they couldn't stand seeing me receive sympathy for my loss.